Hello, it's Stuart from the Courtyard Cafe. Welcome back to the kitchen. I know that there's a big thing these days for recipes to be fancy, recipes to be modern, but sometimes I think there's a very strong case for going back to basics. And what I'm going to make today is from a handwritten recipe book, which was actually my wife's when she studied home economics at school. And it's recipe 1 in the biscuit section, Flakemeal Biscuits. While it's not dad food, the Flakemeal Biscuits contain quite a bit of porridge oats. They do have butter in them, but you can't have everything. And I do think every now and then it's not a big deal to enjoy something that's really, really tasty, really simple, and it's something that I know any of the guys in Stepping Stones in any of our cafes can make at home. There are only a small number of ingredients in this recipe. First of all, I have 8 ounces or 228 grams of butter which has been softened, 4 ounces or 114 grams of caster sugar, half an ounce, which is 15 grams of desiccated coconut. There's not a huge amount of flour in the recipe. It's again 4 ounces or 114 grams. The main ingredient, I suppose, is the porridge oats, and it's just straightforward porridge oats, and it's 10 ounces or 285 grams of those. Take the softened butter and put that into the mixer. As always, I'm using a bench mixer. If you don't have one, you can use a hand mixer. This actually you could do with a spoon if you had to as well. And I'm also then going to add the 4 ounces of caster sugar, which I will cream together. Put the beater onto the machine, drop that down in, and cream the butter and sugar together. I've already sieved the flour because you don't want lumps in it, they'll end up in the mix. And as well, what I've put in is a pinch, probably about a 1/4 teaspoon of baking powder. And mix that in. Flour has mixed in. I'm going to add the desiccated coconut. Flour and coconut are mixed in, and I'm slowly, spoonful at a time, going to add the porridge oats. And that is the Flakemeal dough incorporated and ready to roll out and make into the biscuits. I've dusted the bench with a little bit of flour before we transfer the Flakemeal dough out onto it, because with the fairly high butter content it will tend to stick. Gather it together and begin to flatten it out. A little touch of flour just to stop it from sticking to the rolling pin. Be gentle with it because it will tend to crack, but you can push it back together again and it'll take its shape. I'm going to roll the dough out until it's between 1/2 centimetre and 1 centimetre. If you do make them too thick, they can be quite chewy, and the idea with these is that there's a nice snap, a nice crunch to them. I'm going to use my cutter to get these out. You can see the sort of thickness that I'm going for. Set them onto a baking tray, which is a piece of non-stick baking parchment on it. And keep going until you have all of your dough used up. Almost all of the biscuit dough is used. 12 in the first tray. I'll just keep going and see what we get in the second one. But we'll not be far off having 2 dozen Flakemeal biscuits for a relatively small amount of ingredient. A wee bit of care, and it looks like I'm going to get the full 2 dozen here. That's the 2 trays of biscuits ready for the oven. I'm going to put them into a 170-degree oven for initially 20 minutes, and then I'll give them a check. How long they bake for depends on how crispy you would like them to be. The timer went off after 20 minutes and I decided that the biscuits weren't quite cooked enough, so I gave them another couple of minutes. The alarm has gone off for a second time. Continuing on with keeping it simple sort of thing, one half of these I'm going to finish in the easiest way possible, which is dusting them with a little bit of caster sugar. Finishing the flake meal with sugar is lovely, but I think the ultimate for me is a little spot of melted, particularly dark chocolate. And then on top of the dark chocolate, walnut. Unfortunately, I've measured the chocolate just about right. Prefer it when there's too much and I get to eat some of it at the end. Nearly finished. The last walnuts on. And the last one, but by no means the least one, is the cook's bonus. Gets a little bit of walnut as well. So there you go, folks. And I sincerely hope that the guys in Stepping Stones will have a go at making some of them.